Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some date flapjacks. So the flapjacks are made with oats, as you know if you live in the UK. In North America, flapjacks are something entirely different, more like a Scotch pancake. But in the UK and I think in Australia and New Zealand, flapjacks are made with oats. Very, very tasty, and I have several recipes on the blog for flapjacks, but this one has dates, and I'm doing it for two reasons really. One is that I bought a new pan which I want to use for something, and it's actually described as an 8-inch brownie pan. I bought it because it's shallow, and I can use it for a number of different things. This is hard anodized, but I've greased and lined that with parchment paper. 8 inches, by the way, is 20 centimetres, and that's a square pan. So that's one reason I want to make this, to use that, try that pan out. And the other is that when I did the date slices recently, they were very, very well received. So I thought, well, people like dates, let's do something else with dates. So that's what I'm doing. So I start off by preheating my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I've greased and lined my pan, as I mentioned. So I'll go on to the ingredients. And for this, I have 370 grams, which is very slightly over 4 cups. So it's 4 cups and maybe a tablespoon of rolled oats. You can use any porridge oats really. I have 160 grams, 3/4 of a cup plus 2 teaspoons of light brown sugar. I have 100 grams, which is about half a cup of dates, or chopped dates, so 100 grams after they've been pitted and then chopped into fairly small pieces, but of different sizes. I have 168 grams, 11 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 65 grams, 3 tablespoons plus a teaspoon of golden syrup, and 3 grams, half a teaspoon of salt. And if my golden syrup looks slightly different to usual, it's because I'm using a homemade golden syrup. I actually made some candied orange peel and candied lemon peel, and from that process you end up with rather a lot of sugar, or melted sugar, inverted sugar, and so I have made golden syrup out of that basically. So that's all the ingredients. And so the first thing we need to do is to melt the sugar with the golden syrup and the butter, but I'm going to put my dates in at the same time, and my salt, and melt all of those together in a saucepan. And then they simply get poured over the oats once everything is dissolved together, well, once the sugar is dissolved into the butter and the golden syrup, and it gets poured over the oats, and from that you stir it in and you make your flapjacks. So I'm going to put my dates in as well, and the reason for doing that is that I can get those distributed fairly evenly into the liquid before I put it into the oats. So you don't need to watch that heating up, it's just going on the stove and heating up till everything is melted together. So I've melted all of that together in my saucepan, and I'm going to pour that over the oats, which I've put into a larger saucepan, and then I'm just going to stir that all around until it all is mixed together and is quite all sticking nicely together, basically. And that's all mixed together. So then I'm going to put that into my 8-inch square pan, and I'm going to level it off and tap it down to compress it. So I'll just spread that over and get it level. And I'm just using the back of a spoon to tamp it down. And then with that tapped down like that, I'm going to put that into the oven and I'm going to bake it for between 25 and 30 minutes. The edges should just begin to colour a little bit, and then after that time I'll take it out of the oven, and I think at that stage I can, if I want to, mark some lines over the top where I want to cut it later, or and then leave it to cool down and then take it out and cut it, or you can just simply leave it to cool and then cut it any way you want later. But I'll come back and show it to you once I've taken it out of the oven, and then I'll let it cool down. So I baked my date flapjack for 30 minutes, and it has begun to colour around the edge. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it just along the top, going in a little way. And I'm going to do about 2-inch squares. Which I think would be a nice portion. So that's in one direction, and I can already see that I've gone crooked, but it doesn't matter. And with that scored into 16 pieces, I'm actually going to leave that to cool completely. And once it's completely cool, I'm going to take it out of the tin and cut it into those 16 squares. Then I'll come back and show you the results and we'll have a taste. So I cut my flapjack, my date flapjacks, into the 16 roughly 2-inch square pieces that I said I would, and I'll show you what it looks like. And they baked up very well. I've got 13 of them here and another 3 to the side. So they set up quite nicely, nice and thick and firm and chewy. And I've already been eating one, but I'll finish off the one that I've been eating. This is an edge piece. That is very, very good. Lovely and buttery as flapjack should be. And then you get just that little hit of the fruitiness of the dates when you encounter one of those as well. And that lovely oaty texture and flavour as well. Flapjack's one of my favourites. Now, you could enhance these by piping a little bit of milk chocolate or white chocolate or something on the top, or even a little bit of caramel over the top and let that set up. But personally, I like to just store them in an airtight container and eat them like this. So another very, very easy recipe, which doesn't take too long. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.